Why is this happening? Mine. Why would you lie like that? We're supposed to be a party!
Iwatani Naofumi wakes up gasping from a dream. He introduces himself as a typical nerd living a comfortable life on an allowance provided by his parents. He neither works nor studies, but spends time reading books. He goes to a library where he tries to find some interesting novels to read, and comes across a book that fatefully falls on his head. He skims through the book named The Records of Four Cardinals. The book consists of 4 protagonists, each the master of a different weapon: the sword, the spear, the bow, and the shield. Each is brought from a different world to save the world from the apocalyptic catastrophe. He quickly goes through some pages of the book, and when he reaches the pages about the shield hero, he gets stunned to see a strange light coming out of the book. Suddenly, he gets pulled inside the book, and he gets transported to another world, where he finds people dressed in capes asking for help. The people call Naofumi and his other 3 companions the Four Cardinals, who have been summoned through magic to help them. Naofumi is ready to help, but the other heroes don't seem interested in helping them, as they have been summoned without their choice, and will be thrown back into their world once the battle ends. They are convinced by their hosts to hear the king's speech, at least before they make their decision. So they all agree and appear before the king of Melromark. Motoyasu introduces himself as a spear hero, Ren as the sword hero, and Itsuki as the bow hero. The king and the rest of the group aren't interested in Naofumi, but he still introduces himself as the shield hero. The king then briefs them on why they have been called to this country. He explains that they have been summoned to fight the waves that appear at fixed frequent intervals predicted by the hourglass. The first wave caused the country to experience dystopia right before the heroes were summoned. They are told that they all have a status icon at the bottom right corner, showing useful stats such as their current status, strengths, weaknesses, level number, and the people on their team. Later, when the 4 heroes talk in private, they realize that they all come from different versions of Japan. They all played video games similar to the situation they were now in. However, in each world, the role of the shield hero was the least important. Naofumi feels bad for not being familiar with this stuff, but still believes he must be here for a reason and will give it his all. Someone was eavesdropping on this conversation, and the rumor of the shield hero not being important and aware of the words spreads like fire. The next day they again meet the king, who briefs them further that they have 1 month to level up and increase their power. The warriors of Melromark are allowed to choose one of the heroes they want to follow. Nobody chooses Naofumi, because they all have heard the rumors and believe it's better not to be with him. Naofumi feels it's unfair and protests against this as he lacks knowledge and offensive skills and needs some good team members for support. He is the least aware of his surroundings and needs help. Secondly, as a shield hero, he can only defeat weak monsters using his defense capabilities, but won't progress further without attack support. At that moment, a beautiful young girl steps forward and wishes to join his team. All heroes are given 600 silver coins, but Naofumi is given 800 as a head start for someone with fewer people on the team. Later, the girl introduces herself as Mine and takes Naofumi to a weapon shop, where he realizes it is against the rules for a shield hero to have any weapon other than the shield. Naofumi spends 500 silver coins on Mine's weapons and gear. All seems to be going well till Mine and Naofumi stop for dinner, and she tries to make Naofumi drink wine. When he refuses, she persuades him by telling him that they are in a matriarchal country ruled by women, and thus refusing a drink from a woman is considered rude. He excuses himself and goes to his room, but when he wakes up, he finds guards surrounding him. His armor was stolen, and he believes they are there to help him, but they take him before the king, where Mine is already present. Mine stands behind Motoyasu, the spear hero, when he is taken to the king. She causes a scene claiming Naofumi tried to take advantage of her. He took her clothes off and forced her to sleep with him. The king tells Naofumi if he were not a hero, he would have been executed. Naofumi realizes that Mine stole his armor and silver and gave it to Motoyasu. He demands to be sent back to his world, but the heroes can't return unless they all go together. Naofumi is treated like a monster by the people of the city. He sets out to fight low-level monsters by himself. This marks his real journey towards growth. Naofumi is approached by a suspicious, shady guy who turns out to be a slave trader. He elaborates on demi-humans, a combination of humans and beasts, but treated like slaves as they live in a human-dominant world. The The slave trader assures Naofumi that an enslaved person won't be able to betray or lie to him because of the magic he uses on them. Naofumi chooses a weak, short-stature, half-raccoon girl named Raphtalia. He takes her to a weapon shop and starts to train her. He teaches her the basics, including how and when to attack. Her XP increases when she makes a kill, and he is again reminded of the bitter reality that Mine was with him just to betray him. Raphtalia sees nightmares of her parents' death, who were killed by monsters. Naofumi toughens her up through brutal fighting. Naofumi makes money for survival by selling rare herbs. His shield gets upgraded and unlocks new achievements and shapes whenever he defeats small balloon monsters. When Raphtalia hesitates to fight, Naofumi clarifies that he needs her to fight for him, or he won't be able to look after her anymore. Raphtalia, who has suffered from torture by the previous owner, is now scared of losing Naofumi, who treats her gently. Naofumi unlocks a new shield that could be used in mining and helps him earn more money. Monsters had habited the mines after the first wave, and thus humans were scared to mine there. It was a perfect place to train by fighting monsters and earning quick money by mining valuable gems. While mining, they come across a two-headed dog monster which causes Raphtalia to freak out. Her parents were killed in the first wave by a similar monster. Naofumi encourages her to fight as she has no other option. As Naofumi is fighting the monster alone, he is injured, and Raphtalia doesn't want him to die. So she makes the attack and slays the beast. Their bond strengthens as they now fully trust each other. Raphtalia and Naofumi continue to grind and level up. Raphtalia grows physically stronger and shapes into a beautiful young woman. They later go to buy armor and a new sword. They wonder if there is a way to tell them how much time is left before the next wave. The weapon shop owner tells them about the place where the hourglass is. They reach there to discover that only 20 hours are left before the next wave. Here they find the other heroes, and they belittle Naofumi. Motoyasu tries to steal Raphtalia away, and when she refuses, he tells Naofumi to make sure he doesn't hold them back in the war. On the day of the next wave, Raphtalia thanks Naofumi for giving her a reason to live and taking good care of her. Suddenly, as the time reaches 0, the portals in the sky open, and heroes and their parties are transported to the battleground. While the others go on an offensive and ignore the fact that a village is nearby, Raphtalia and Naofumi take a strategic and humanistic approach and go to protect the village. Raphtalia evacuates the city while Naofumi is left alone to distract the beasts. Since Naofumi can't use the sword himself, so he tries to buy the villagers some time so they can run. Finally, the knights arrive, but instead of caring for the villagers or the shield hero, they heartlessly set everything on fire to eliminate the monsters. The other 3 heroes fight the monsters on the battleground, neglecting the civilians. Naofumi's courage manages to convince the knights to help him, and they all join hands to defeat the monsters. After the wave ends, the villagers thank Naofumi for saving their lives, but he stays humble. The villagers promise to help Naofumi wherever he needs them. Raphtalia's eyes get teary because she saved children from becoming orphans. Naofumi comforts her and praises her for fighting courageously. The king holds a feast to celebrate the defeat of the second wave. The fight was successful as the number of casualties reported remained in single digits. While all the other heroes are busy with the celebration, Naofumi seems lost in thought. He thinks about the power he unlocked during the wave, the ability to teleport people with himself. He feels bad because if he had known about it earlier, he could have teleported the city's people to safer places more easily. Motoyasu publicly challenges Naofumi to a duel. He claims that Raphtalia is enslaved and wants to free her. Naofumi reminds Motoyasu that slavery is legal in this world, and he doesn't have time to waste on such things. The king interferes and forces Naofumi to fight as it is wrong to have Raphtalia under the curse, and once Motoyasu wins, she will be free. Raphtalia speaks in favor of Naofumi, but is forcefully silenced as they believe Naofumi might have ordered her to speak nicely about him. The duel begins with the rule stating if one admits defeat or is pinned down, the duel will end. Motoyasu provokes Naofumi to admit defeat before he embarrasses himself. He makes the first attacking move that Naofumi successfully blocks. Naofumi then uses balloon monsters that he hides in his cloak, and the 2-necked dog monster shield he acquired while mining. The masses criticize him for not fighting fairly. Naofumi has the upper hand, but Mine cheats and uses a strong magical spell on him, allowing Motoyasu to win. The majority ignores Naofumi's claims of her cheating. At this stage, the king reveals that she is his daughter, and her real name is Malti. Naofumi realizes that the king was involved in the trap set by them. Malti mocks the shield hero. As they take the curse off Raphtalia, the slave contract with Naofumi is naturally terminated. Raphtalia is taken away, and the despair and anger of Naofumi turn into tears. He tries to remove his shield to throw it away, but can't because it's attached to his body. Enraged, Naofumi declares that he no longer cares for such a selfish world. Raphtalia slaps Motoyasu on the face. She tells him she didn't ask for his help to save her. She defends Naofumi as he has done nothing but treat her fair. The other heroes come and say that they too believe Naofumi won, as there was a magical intervention. Naofumi finds himself in a pit of self-hatred, and Raphtalia reassures him that she knows the real him and is by his side. She decides to be his sword for as long as she can. Here, Naofumi realizes that Raphtalia is no longer a kid, but a mature, responsible adult capable of making her own decisions. They both hug, and everyone sees that Naofumi and Raphtalia don't have the ordinary master-slave relationship.